It's the number one question every client asks. How much is my case worth? The answer is complex, but it depends on three things. Hi, I'm attorney Mark Lopez. While no attorney can promise a specific settlement amount, I can explain the three components that go into valuing a personal injury case. Number one, the economic damages, what we call the hard numbers. It includes medical bills, ambulance bills, ER bills, urgent care, going to your primary care doctor, prescription medication. If there's surgery, there's going to be surgery in the future. If someone's going to have medical problems in the future, because if you have a hip replacement now, guess what? In 20, 30 years, you probably gonna need another one. So it's gonna be the actual numbers, and those can add up. We're also talking about lost wages, lost promotions, lost earning opportunities. Also, did you use your vacation time to go to appointments? Well, guess what? That's not what vacation time is for. So all of that encompasses what we call the hard numbers. Number two, non-economic damages. We're talking about pain and suffering. Anybody that's been in pain knows that's not fun. Hey, who here has not had a toothache or backache, still had to go to work, still had to do childcare, still had to do all the normal life things? Well, you didn't ask for that to happen to you, so you are entitled to compensation. Now, just very realistically, minor backache is not going to be worth as much as a broken bone. A broken bone is not going to be worth as much as someone who needs to have a surgical intervention on their shoulder or their back. So this pain and suffering, it's kind of attached to medical bills, but not really, because someone could have serious back problems for the rest of their life. Well, that's compensable. Well, that's recoverable because that person's going to be in pain for a very long time. So it's not as easy to say the more serious injuries get more serious pain and suffering amounts for their settlement, because nothing is ever easy in personal injury. But the worst type injury, typically people in their minds say that's going to be more pain and suffering. Now, this also impacts, permanency, how long it's going to last, and someone's going to have deal with again in the future. So that's kind of part and parcel with the first part. But no, we're all looking at this, and our lives are meant to be enjoyed. Does this pain and suffering diminish that enjoyment in appreciable ways? I can no longer play basketball like I used to. I can't go on hikes the same way I used to. I'm scared of riding a bicycle because if I fall, I know I could hurt myself. So the loss of enjoyment of life goes into this part two, the non-economic damages. Now, number three, the liability and insurance limits. So the value of a case is also capped at what is realistically able to be paid by somebody, most likely an insurance company. So think about it this way. There's two different factors. In Indiana particularly, we have a comparative fault state. So if someone's in a car crash, but they were a little bit at fault, maybe they're speeding 5 miles over the speed limit, but it doesn't matter because somebody sideswiped them, well, a jury could say that person's 5% at fault, 10% at fault, 15% at fault. What that means is the settlement jury award is reduced by 10 to 15%, whatever percentage a jury says a person's at fault. That's one way to reduce damages. Also, if the at-fault driver only has $50,000, now if somebody was fantastically wealthy, had mansions and had assets, they probably would have more than $50,000 liability insurance. So what's the case worth? Well, the case is worth what someone can pay for that case. You get $1 million judgment against a person and they make $50,000 a year before taxes. That doesn't mean too much if their policy is only $50,000. The case is probably only worth $50,000. That's why it's important, whatever attorney you hire for your injury case needs to know how to look for the maximum number of people that can pay. We've had people at this law firm come to us and say, hey, my attorney only says a case is worth this much money. I don't know what to do. And then we take over the case and we look for more avenues of recovery. So just for example, we had a client that was walking outside of a grocery store and they were backed into by a car and they hurt themselves. Well, the people that we were able to recover for that client were the following. Person that backed into him. That's easy, right? Hey, you know what? The grocery store where she was leaving, inadequate lighting and signage. And then number three, our client had her own insurance policy. At first, they were like, hey, it's not our responsibility. We didn't do anything wrong. No. Our client had better insurance than the person that hit her. So we're able to tap into our client's insurance as well. We found three different ways for our client to recover because guess what? The person that hit her only had $25,000, the absolute minimum coverage in Indiana. That client ended up getting a verdict of more than $3 million. That's huge. And that comes from us at this law firm knowing, try to find the maximum number of people to hold responsible for our client's injury. So what is an injury case worth? Well, it's based on three different factors. The hard numbers, medical bills and whatnot. Number two, the non-economic, such as pain and suffering. And then number three, what sources are available to pay and how much can they pay? So it's never easy. Calculating the true value of a case requires a thorough analysis of medical records, economic projections, legal precedent. It's a detailed process designed to ensure that you are compensated for everything you've lost. To get a real, honest assessment of what your specific case might be worth, you need to speak with an experienced attorney. Our case evaluations are free and confidential. Give us a call, 317-632-3642. Number one most important thing to remember though, insurance companies are not your friend, but I can be. Give us a call.